Well, welcome everybody.
Hello.
We are doing the Old North State Winery virtual tasting. This is Chris and Ed.
Hi.
We do this every single week here in person at 6 p.m. on Thursday nights, downtown Mount Airy. Our beautiful urban winery turns into basically a classroom, if you will,
It does.
of
Full of
wines,
knowledge.
wines of the world, and very interactive. Chef Chris prepares 4 dishes to go with 4 wines.
Tapas.
Yeah, little tapas. Yeah, absolutely. And it's well received. As a matter of fact, last week we had quite a few.
It was a heck of a turnout.
We had the mayor. We had city board members. We had
planners and
the
shakers
planners, the
and
movers, the
and
shakers, the downtown events
all the beautiful
coordinators.
people. All the beautiful people.
And the bankers and the landowners. It was quite fun. And of course,
Plus regulars.
Plus our
I mean,
beloved.
that was a fraction of it.
Yeah, plus our beloved regulars who are all walks of life, they just have one thing in common. They want to know and drink more wine. And so they do that. And they do that with our guidance.
Wine brings us all together.
It really does. You know, we haven't got
It knows no status, no structure, no anything. It just
we've got cops,
beautiful.
we've got bankers, we've got accountants, it's
hunters, foragers,
retirees.
you name it.
I mean,
We're all about
construction gurus.
Construction gurus, yeah. Old Jerry was here.
Yeah. So
it's all about the food and the wine, the camaraderie. And that's the beauty of wine.
Yep, and at any level of education in terms of wine,
Wine doesn't care.
I think everybody has a great time. It's as complicated or as simple as you want it. And if you can't be here with us, you can always watch this video and just pick up your pack, take it home with you, watch it like you're watching now, and drink along with us.
Or if you had too much to drink at the in person, you can watch this afterwards to remember what you talked about.
To remember
Thank
what
you,
you
by
drank.
the way. Appreciate it. So excited for this.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we try to keep it fun and try to keep it light, but also give you plenty of information about wines of the world. And that's what we're really trying to do, is to frame the entire wine world so that we better understand why the Yadkin Valley wines are so delicious in their own right, because wines are different all over the world, and that's important to know. It's not all Napa, California cabs.
No offense.
No offense, because we love them, but we
However,
want to sprinkle it around.
Small portion of the world.
Yeah, there's so many different flavors and weights and textures, and we want to try them all. It's going to take some time. It's going to take us a few decades. We're going to do it.
Well, you know what? That's the one thing we do have.
Yep, and this wine will help preserve us so that we can continue on the efforts.
Never met a sick pickle.
Nope. Well, we have been very fortunate to stumble across a new importer, Andy at Elephant Corner Wines, and he's brought us another beauty. This is the White Squirrel. It is a Sav Blanc from South Africa, and this is from a little co-op in South Africa. This is a 2021 White Squirrel. Now, personally, I was really excited about this label, not because it's goofy and cute, but Chef, as you remember, I lived in Brevard, North Carolina, where white squirrels were hopping around in the trees, and I nearly lost my mind.
They
when I
kind of
first saw
hang their
one.
hat on that.
Yeah, I thought I was maybe been microdosed, or what do the kids
So,
call it these days?
I don't know what. I mean, I'm too
I feel
old
like
to
I've
know,
been-
but
I
I
feel
feel
like
like
I've
I'm
been-
flashbacks from.
Yeah. I was literally questioning my sanity. I'm like, oh no, those things are just regular squirrels. They're all white, bounce around the tree. So this label brought back those memories. Of course, there are also some terrible memories of my ex-wife, who I don't miss at all.
Who?
I'm not bitter.
Who?
Yeah. Anyway, those were great times. All kidding aside, the
Well,
marriage
I'm not
wasn't
kidding.
that
She
bad. I'm
wasn't.
just being.
It
I'm
wasn't
just
that
being
bad.
funny. So, with that being
I
said,
sure hope she hasn't been hit by a large construction vehicle.
you know, this is a comedy, right, folks? Comedy. All right, we're just tongue in cheek. So anyway, those white squirrels are kind of cool. This one looks like he's trying to play the bottle like a guitar, so he's kind of like a hip white squirrel, and I really
an
dig it.
accomplished musician
Now,
to boot.
now we make we make it very clear to our patrons. We're talking about wine. It's what's in the bottle that matters. In your glass, it matters. I mean, yes, that label can attract you and get you to buy it the first time, but will you buy it again after you taste it?
That's the barometer.
And because this is direct import, there's you don't see a lot of, you're not going to see these wines out much. Certainly it'll be a while before they build their portfolio to the huge successes that I know that they will. But right now we're kind of excited to showcase several of their wines, and we will continue to do so. And we're going to have a wine dinner with them down the road.
Well, they don't have a dog in this race because everything you've tried more of their portfolio than I have, but I mean, there has not been a single wine that I've been privileged to taste with you guys that hasn't been amazing.
You bought a bunch of that Pinotage.
I did. I mean, that Pinotage, which is normally kind of hit or miss, spot on, and their French Bordeaux.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on, forget about it.
Yeah, they do all kinds of cool stuff. So here's Sauvignon Blanc, 100%. And I think that you will see that this is extremely lively. It's kind of bordering Marlborough in style. What do you say?
Exactly what I was going to say, because we haven't had a New Zealand Sav Blanc in a while. We've been doing everybody, but I mean, quintessential. I mean, like nose, following the palate, grapefruit.
Yeah, big
and
time
it's been a long time since we've had a Sav Blanc that's had this profile.
Sure, I agree. And also,
it's cool.
There's a nice texture to this. I think they attribute that to probably some lees stirring or some time on lees. And that really gives this a little bit more of a mouthfeel and helps with that assertiveness. You know, sometimes assertiveness without weight can come across almost too tart. And I think with this textural component, it really gives the great counterbalance, if you will, to the just beautiful piercing grapefruit that you're talking about.
Piercing grapefruit, lime. I don't know if it's coastal or not, but you can almost feel the limestone on this. Just a great minerality.
There's a beautiful chalkiness in here as well that I really adore. You would not mix this up with France at all, but
exactly.
It's not
we've been
supposed
drinking a lot of the French ones lately, and not just France, but a lot of others. But
dabbling in some California too.
Yeah, and this is just I don't know. It's like a visit from an old friend, if that makes sense.
And this goes to show, again, even before I met Andy, I'm pretty much a South African wine advocate. It seems like, because I
clearly
show them and talk about them a lot, but. This is exactly why. If you're tasting this right now, you'll know exactly why I'm excited about this wine. And it's another time, you're another under $20 wine that just drinks so remarkably well. They're consistently, everything they have, for the most part, comes in at these incredible price points.
Well, and I think that's true of most of his portfolio. I mean, he had one, I don't remember exactly, one pretty big dog, but
yeah, it was about.
I mean,
30.
they were all, but even at the price, it drank.
Right.
It was a value at that price.
Sure.
But I mean, again, I can't ever recall tasting through, a portfolio and not kicking out 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I mean, you always kick out 3 or 4. You're like,
Yeah.
That was not the case.
Yeah, there were. And we've got more to go, Chef, because we've only been through 12 of the 50-plus wines that he has. So.
Well, I'm sure going to hate to
somebody's
and suffer through those.
It's a tough job, but someone has to do it. So,
and Andy's a good cook himself. He wanted to knock me off the out the door.
He wanted to do some African dishes.
He wanted to be like, I'll take care of it. I'm like, oh no. I mean, we can collaborate, but he just wanted to be like, well, I got this.
He wanted.
Well, I love his enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't mean any harm.
No, not at all. But he was. That's what it is. It's enthusiasm. He loves to do these things. So that's going to be a real showstopper when he comes. I mean, he's going to be a character.
I can't wait. And once, I guess, probably, I don't know, Chef, what do you think? Late spring, probably?
Well, I hope we can put together that soon. I would love to put together
Early
sooner
summer,
rather than
maybe.
later.
Yeah. Well, and with the warmer weather, eventually it has to come. And it's been moderating a little bit here lately. These are the kind of wines that you're going to want.
Oh, absolutely. And this is not a condensate, but lighter bodied, floral, fruity wines. I mean, it's just perfect time of year for that.
Yeah, I was eyeballing my yard leaving this morning. It's green.
Yeah.
That means the mower's coming out soon.
I was gonna mow yesterday, and when I was going to pick up Lauren, I made it a point to look around everyone's yard, and no one's mowing. I mean, even with the, we're all getting patches. I know I have a bunch of patches.
Yeah.
And I guess no one's ready to like
Right.
hose the
Because
patches.
once you start,
And so I debated that. I had to clean Megan's van, and when I got done, I was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and knock the yard down. I was like, I have to do it in 3 days again, because the patches are gonna come back. So I think I'm gonna be that guy that waits until it all fills in a little bit more.
Sure.
But I sure wanted to.
yeah.
It's kind of like when you're young and you can't wait to shave.
Wait a second. What does that word "young" mean?
Well, I mean, remember
I
100
don't
years ago?
remember. I don't remember.
I remember like I couldn't wait to shave.
Oh yeah. Now.
And now it's like, are you kidding me? I'm never gonna shave again.
Yeah.
And so I think mowing is like that. The first mowing of the spring, you're like, you're so happy things are growing and the doldrums of winter are over.
But boy,
But it only takes like twice.
And when you get into July and August, you're like,
You know, like I'm gonna pour concrete all over this grass. I'm
gonna-
gonna paint it green, spray paint it green, and just have one pot of flowers in the middle of it.
I've already talked about taking a tiller and tilling up about half of my yard and doing more
Natural area.
kind of natural
Yeah.
areas, because I do like my potted plants anyway.
See, I'd prefer that. Like, I mean, I'm legit thinking about reducing a little bit, but I have so much planted, like perennials.
Yeah, your yard's beautiful.
Well, it is for a while. It gets leggy and it's a lot of work, and of course, Mrs. Wishart has to do it. She does a lot of weeding. I do more of the maintenance. And
How does she find time with all the cooking she's doing?
Right. Superwoman. Superwoman.
Hey chef, we got this beautiful Sav Blanc.
It is stunning.
What kind of food are you gonna throw it?
Well, what goes great with Sav Blanc, chef? Goat cheese,
Yeah, big time.
olives.
Yes,
How
absolutely.
about we do some beautiful goat cheese and marinated Greek olive mix?
Sounds great.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
It'd be a great way to kick things off. Is
Kind of the warmer weather kind of thing.
the
too.
warmer weather thing, especially for snacking, arriving home. You just put a couple things out. You're not really ready to settle down for dinner. You just want to have some wine
Yeah,
and chill. So we're gonna
sweet,
put a little lemon and coriander and garlic on our olives and
nice.
have a little goat cheese with it. I think it's gonna be a beautiful accompaniment.
I don't doubt it for a second.
Really high end.
I love your olives, chef. You do a great job with those that marination.
So many people take olives for granted. They think they're an afterthought. You and I do not think that. Olives are a centerpiece
Absolutely,
and are not to be taken lightly. Look at that.
not pretty. See if you
Nice.
can get a good look at that. That's beautiful cork.
You don't do
right
better
there.
than that.
That's a well maintained cork, quality cork, and I do kind of I can be a little rough on my Italian corks because I find that oftentimes they're really hit or miss. But this
That's
is
because they're rough back to you.
yeah, that's true. They do a lot of those kind of glued together particle cork, and this is a nice and it's polished. So it just
does
comes
have a nice
off real
sheen
nice,
to it,
easy.
doesn't it?
This is from colle Massari, absolutely beautiful Tuscan wine producer. And wow, what can I say? We're about to get into something delicious, chef. You're gonna love this. I know
Can't
this is gonna be
wait.
right down your alley.
Cannot
And
wait.
notice here that we've got a beautiful vintage here because we're, what, 6 years almost now?
Five and a half.
Five and a
at
half,
least.
yep.
And I love it how everybody on New Year's Day goes, "Oh, our wine's aged another year."
Yeah, right, yeah. True story, true story.
Raise the prices.
Monteccuco is a region just below Brunello in Tuscany. And guess what grape that is? It's Sangiovese, just like the Brunello Montepulciano. So Sangiovese is the king of Tuscany, is it not? I mean, can't
Rightfully
really.
so.
Yeah, and it's so, gosh, it brings so much. It has all those obviously red fruit notes, but then all the other things, the organic material kind of stuff, even approaching into tar sometimes,
Are you kidding
flowers, and
The floral elements
yeah.
of this are over the top. Although, I think a lot of people,
get a little.
when you hear floral,
Peak of
you
that.
associate a lot of white wines or a lighter red.
Mhm.
These are not light floral notes. A lot of rose, hibiscus, just delicious. All red. All
This
red
is
fruit.
also just a note. This is a Riserva level, which means, generally speaking, it is 12 months oak, 6 months bottle. I think this producer is just doing 18 months vat, not oak, if I'm not mistaken. Couldn't find the text sheet on it, but on their bottle, it says 18 months barrel, 12 months bottle, but this label could easily be just like a replicated one that they just put a different vintage on. I don't know if that was the case for that particular year, but anyway, regardless, Riserva has to be 18 months out before released. Generally speaking, Riserva levels will also have lower production, so this will not be a mass-produced one. So there is some connotation to that term in Italy and Spain. Doesn't mean squat in America if someone has a Riserva. And we're going to have a Riserva Malbec, I believe, next week from Argentina, and that will also
Fancy.
fall under the guidelines of the same age worthiness. I think Chile also falls in that as well. So Spain, Italy, Chile, and Argentina are observing that Riserva as a qualitative actual expense and should be a better wine. But there's only one way to tell. So here I go.
Cheers. Salute. Prost. Cien.
Well, that
Cherry
does
for
not.
days on this.
Yeah, that does not disappoint. Huge burst of delicious fruit and great little hint of acidity right at the end. Really got the juices flowing,
Got it
and
all.
very sneaky subtle tannins coming in. Absolutely beautiful. That age is doing a lot for
the
this.
chipmunk tannins.
Yeah, that roastiness. I love it.
Well, what I love is how much time this spent on oak, and it's not in the forefront.
Right.
It's a subtlety, and that's a real art.
My guess is it's probably.
The aging, maybe?
Yeah, it could be a neutral oak, but because you don't really get vanilla or anything out of this. No, don't really get baking spices, although it is spicy.
It's got a great spice, but I mean, I think the cherry is really prominent. Almost like you know how when we poach pears, a little clove? I'm just getting a little of that not a hard clove, but a soft clove on the end of the spice is so good.
There's a richness of fruit here that is just remarkable to me.
Layered.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost kind of approaching prune. It's a really overripe plum. Overripe plum going to prune. Obviously, the cherry just screams out of the gates. But
Right out of there, but the layers again.
Yeah,
there's layers of that more complex fruit as you let it sit. You don't want to like hit this 2-3 times. Immediately and let it kind of develop on your palate. You get so many layers of this. Almost like I was always fascinated by people like bakers used to keep a bucket. Old school bakers when they have lots of plums and nectarines and cherries and they're always baking in season, they always kept a big bucket and threw all the scraps in there.
Yeah.
And would make it would almost ferment while they were keeping everything, and they would use that. They would pour wine into it and throw all their nectarine, prune, baking scraps into it, and then strain it off and use that for like a coating for their fruit to bake.
Right. Wow.
Voila.
Yeah, there
I
is
always loved that story, how you would do that, and
just extracting every bit of flavor.
every bit of flavor, and then, no waste.
Right.
But just think about the enrichment, of that.
Yeah.
And they cook it down with the wine, and
Sure.
so it was amazing marinade.
That's brilliant. Chef, I want to take note that this is not a dainty wine at all. This has got the kick of a mule in it. Although I'm not saying it's harsh on the palate, but what I am saying is this does not lack for alcohol.
This keeps changing in the glass, too.
Yeah.
The cherry's almost gone now.
We probably should have decanted.
But I think it's fascinating. A few minutes. I mean, cherry's almost gone. Now you're really into the bigger stuff.
And this is partly because I can't keep up with what year it is anymore. But usually I like to
It's
say
2039.
my rule is 5 years decant. And I didn't follow the rules, Chef, because we're at 5.5 years.
Well, the rules are there for your safety, not anyone else.
But it is fun to watch it to show out in your glass too. And I think when you decant, I think you should pull a little off and taste it while you're waiting to decant, just so you can see where it came from, where it's going in that. Whether it's 20 minutes or an hour or 2 hours, and just see how it evolves. It's fascinating. It's you can't do that with beer or liquor. It is what it is.
You can try.
But it is. You can try, but it's not going to.
Nothing wrong with experimenting.
Yep.
This is almost, it's funny, it's reminding me now, with the little rain we're getting right now, but like in the summertime, like all your hanging plants and after a big rain, when it knocks all the petals down, and it stops raining, maybe the sun, you come out and you can smell the floralness from that damp
bouquet,
rain, the bouquet from the.
What's that, like? Almost like a potpourri is dried, but that
But
kind
this
of
is a
same
fresh,
concept.
where the rain just pounds the petals of all your flowers outside, and it stops, and you kind of get a mist with the sun comes out. You can smell all of the florality of that moment in the summer, right there in the glass. But with the accompanying fruit and oak, I mean, it's a very complex wine.
Yum. Well.
This is not something, this is what I love about the wines you pick. Like, you can't just I'm sorry, no one's going to walk into a store and pick that one. And it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, that's not.
I mean,
now,
you're not
now
going to
this one you would. You would
No,
go
yeah,
like,
yeah, you would. But I mean, that is
Squirrel.
not something you're just going to go, let's get that for tonight. I mean, you'd be, are you kidding me?
You don't know what it is.
You're
It's
flying
almost
blind,
kind of
you have no
intimidating a
idea
little
what it
bit.
is. There's nothing on the label that even tells you.
That's a cool crest.
It is. I mean, you see Riserva, and we kind of talk about label identification, but even if you're good at label identification, I mean, there's no normalcy to this label. Like, even people who drink Italian wines, this is a geeky wine, and I love that you found this, like you do all the stuff. But I mean, this is, that's a serious wine. That's a very serious wine.
Yeah.
You sure you know what it tastes like?
Well, I had it. I can't remember how long ago it was, and
Probably 10 years ago.
I do love
Organic.
I love how I get a different impression when I'm drinking with you oftentimes, and it's almost always in a more positive light. And I think that goes to show that wine likes company. Now don't get me wrong, I will sit around and drink wine by myself,
And it will still be delicious, but it won't be the same.
but it is nice to talk and discuss about the wine. It does seem to open your brain a little bit more and to be more receptive to other flavors and just being more open-minded to the wine.
I could not agree more. I mean, I think that enhances every wine. I think that even takes a middle-of-the-road wine. And if you're sharing it with friends and you're talking about it, you're doing things, it's all of a sudden you will find things about a wine that may not even be remarkable.
Sure.
That enhance it.
Yeah.
But you still, again, you think about label identification. most people, especially the people who come to your, you know, who are your students, they know Brunello.
Sure.
They know Sangiovese.
Oh,
They
yeah.
know all these things. You can't find anything on here. I mean, this is not Montepulciano, it's Monteccuco.
Yeah.
And you see Riserva, you see organic. So those are two like keywords. Like
Sure.
if I were like buying blind, I like Riserva. We
Yeah.
know what that means in Italy.
Sure.
We like organic.
And
'cause that-
Rosso being red.
Rosso being
So
red.
there's, in case you're color, like you can't see.
You can't see, but I mean, still.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing on here that tells you this is a Sangiovese near Brunello.
Right.
So this is a hard.
Sure.
This is a hard
And-
buy.
and
Now you see the importer, Weinbo. You may or may not know. Normally, you would look for an importer. You see a certain. They've got a certification, organic.
Mhm.
That's a big positive.
Sure.
So when buying blind, if that's important to you, you know, so it has some identifications, but you would never like take this home and extrapolate from this label what you just shared with everybody.
Well, it's that's why there's no substitute for tasting, and
Exactly.
and so when I have distributors come, every now and again I'll ask for a specific, but usually 99 out of 100 times it's like bring me whatever I want. I don't want to have opinion sway.
The weird, the wild, the different.
Yeah.
Let's have
And
it.
it, whether
Yeah, let's
and,
learn.
and I'm talking about it can be the heavy produced stuff. I will judge it on its own merits in the glass, the stuff that you might not understand if you just walk by the bottle. I want to taste those too, because you just really have to get down to the bottom of the glass, and that's what we're planning on doing. So, chef,
Every glass.
what are you going to accentuate this delicious wine with?
Well, we're gonna have to use some Palmetto Farms quail, right?
Oh yeah.
It's got to be the case.
Well, this would be killer with game.
Palmetto Farms, right outside of Sumter, South Carolina. The oldest producer of game birds in the United States. Been doing it since the 1800s. We're gonna do their quail. We're gonna do a hard sear, finish it in the oven, alongside some king trumpet mushrooms.
Nice. Those are so beautiful.
They've been gorgeous lately.
Oh, chef.
Stunning.
Sorry to cut you off, but I just did. So now the damage is done.
So we got to go with it.
So
Let's
I
go
want
on
to.
to-
I want to talk about that. We started our chef's table lunch today. And we
Our
had
first.
Our first.
And
and
we
then-
should have broke a bottle of bubbles on something.
on somebody's head.
Yeah.
But I could. Yeah, I would have cracked it over.
Yes, I do.
But the remarkable dish right out of the gates.
It's
Can
kind of
we-
over the top, wasn't it?
Can we talk about how beautiful that was? Holy cow!
It was a tad over the top. It was our inaugural lunch chef table, and we happened to have two people who are people we adore, have been coming for years, and
And they like nice things.
they love nice things, and they support us in so many different ways. So may have gone a little over the top.
It was just right. It was just right.
It was
But
pretty-
those mushrooms were gorgeous.
The mushrooms were stunning.
Yeah.
And same thing, they were seared and finished in the oven. They got the nice juices from the meat that really helped elevate that mushroom experience. It was something.
So you're gonna take those type of mushrooms, and then you're going to have with roasted quail.
We're gonna have roasted quail. And it's gonna be the breast, boneless
Right.
quail breast, and we're gonna roast those together. And then we're gonna have some beet emulsion.
Nice.
And the beet obviously gonna pick up on the
Oh,
floral
yeah.
and fruit notes here. It's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
love it. Earthy, sweet, the whole thing that's going on here. Not a sugar sweet, but a vegetable sweet.
Mm. Wow.
And one of the detriments of our society is processed sugar that ruins our palate, that we no longer understand the sweetness of beets and carrots.
Right.
And because pears and beets and carrots are incredibly sweet.
Mhm.
And while they have the complexity and the balance of earthiness as well, but we just need to understand how the interplay of that with the fruitiness in the wine is not a syrup. It's a beautiful sweetness. It's a natural sweetness. Yeah.
Yep. So
And they like each other.
that is going to be quite a treat.
It'll be stunning.
I hope that you out there watching this are really down with that because that's killer.
It's
Killer.
a good thing to be down with.
What amazing ingredients here.
Well, this wine is just completely over the top. I've really enjoyed the metamorphosis in the glass. It's gotten air to it and really unwinded. This is really something.
This is doing a lot of things to keep me happy. I like it a lot.
We want to keep you happy.
Well, we have successfully tasted 2 wines on video for your enjoyment. Once
For
again.
your pleasure.
And if you want any of these wines, give us a call at the winery or send us an email at info@Old North State Winery. If you'd like to come in and do the chef's table for Wednesday lunch, we'd love to have you for that too. It's a 3-courser. We have optional wine pairings, which our guests did today, and they were
They
thrilled.
were thrilled. They were thrilled, and they were gorgeous wines. Really love the New York State wine. That was a
Oh yeah,
huge hit. That was just as always, the pairing was spot on as always, but great story.
We were all over the map once again. We were in New York, we were in Australia and Italy on our wine pairings today at
kidding me?
lunch.
Bubbles,
Yes,
flats,
yeah,
international. It's just all over. I mean, at lunch, world class.
yeah, and getting all that special attention from you, chef, that just makes a great afternoon. So if you want to do that, please RSVP. If you want to do the chef's table, the 7-course dinner we do on Friday and Saturday nights, which is just incredibly popular. I don't know if we have any seats left this week.
We don't. We're all booked up.
It's pretty remarkable. So if a couple weeks out from making that decision, that'd be the time to RSVP. And we'd love to see you tasting the wines of the world with us as chef prepares all of these unique one-and-done meals because we never replicate.
We're the wines. I mean,
That's right.
it's a great
Yeah,
way
well,
to memorialize a place and time.
Yeah. And so we got a lot going on here. Of course, if you ever want to pick up food to carry home in addition to the tasting,
We got you covered.
we got you covered in that department too. You know, we love to do that as well. So thank you all for your continued support of Old North State Winery. We'll keep doing these videos till you stop watching them, which I hope is never.
Well, because we'll keep watching them, so it'll perpetuate forever.
Yeah. We're gonna get those. We're gonna cross that 30 views before you know it.
And that's when the endorsements start coming in.
Big money. We've
Cha-ching,
already
baby.
got this endorsement.
I've already
too.
got it spent.
Hey everybody, y'all have a great week. We'll see you
Take
soon.
care.